coordinated by the Asian Pacific Fund, and they will have extensive involvement with ACI, Asian Americans for Community Involvement. With me right now is the President and CEO, Sarita Kohli, and Jorge Wong, President and CEO of RAMS, Richmond Area Multi-Services. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
All right, I mentioned earlier that it was ACI, but it's actually Asian Pacific Fund that's coordinating this. Tell me something in terms of like what's going to happen here and why do you feel like this kind of needs to happen?
I think it's a very exciting thing that APF is doing, Asian Pacific Fund. They're bringing together funders across the Bay Area to highlight the emerging needs of the Asian community across the Bay Area.
We haven't seen something like this for a while.
We have not seen that before.
Not in this form, huh?
Yeah.
Jorge, give me an idea here in terms of why you feel like this is really kind of a necessary, needed thing.
That's a great question, Robert. I think a lot of funders feel that the API really don't have that much of a problem. So I think the API Summit is bringing organizations within the community that really addresses some of the unspoken or almost unheard of problems that many of the API communities are facing. For example, working with older adults, immigration issues, leadership, domestic violence, mental health. So these are things that we often don't hear about our communities having problems with, but I think it's something that we want to highlight so that funders know that we also have these issues within our community.
Yeah, it really is a cultural kind of generational thing, isn't it, that for not to talk about it. What is the kind of the forum for people to talk about it? How do you anticipate seeing them creating kind of a way for them to talk about it and to talk about it in somewhat of a comfortable way?
So, each one of us is going to be part of a panel, and we're identifying one of the issues that each one of us is going to highlight. So I'm going to speak about the issue of domestic violence, which we know is hugely underreported in the Asian community. We just bury it under the carpet. We are ashamed to bring this to the fore. So that's something that I will be highlighting. And I think the idea is for us to be able to say that the scale of the issue is so substantial. It's not enough for one or two organizations to be funding these kind of services, but really to understand how large the issue is. Just as an example, in Santa Clara County, there's 20,000 calls for help every year.
Yeah.
And, the amount of shelter beds that there are is only 59 for all these people seeking help.
It's interesting, too, because as you remember, Aki was our very first guest of our very first show a little over 4 years ago. And that was one of the issues that Aki said we need to target. We need to get people talking about that.
Exactly.
Have you seen much progress in that kind of thing? Do you think that the community is making progress in these kind of areas?
I think they're slowly chipping at it, but I think oftentimes funders, because of that model minority myth, oftentimes don't see Asians having those issues. And also, other times they may not have the language or they feel the shame and stigma of actually coming out seeking for services. Oftentimes Asians don't really reach out for those services, even though they are available and they can be actually helped. Oftentimes they come, especially in the areas of mental health, they may be experiencing it for a long time, and by the time they come to us, they're actually in crisis mode. At that time, that's when we kick in. There's also many cultures that don't have language to really even talk about mental health issues or even treatment. So sometimes that's not even in their scope of sight in regards to healthcare.
Yeah, so do you think that a summit kind of format kind of works in this way then? I mean, it's so many of the problems you do sort of attack within the community, but a summit, I don't know, it kind of, does it give it sort of a broader perspective, or at least maybe makes it feel a little bit more inclusive?
I think so. I have not heard of any such large-scale gathering. I think, what the Asian Pacific Fund has done is bringing together individuals, foundations, government people, everybody together to address sort of these are the issues of our time over here. So I think that would be very exciting for everyone to hear the message at the same time and be able to collaborate to support the community.
I know, I would say that about ACI, but also Asian Pacific Fund is almost the perfect organization to kind of put this on. They are connected to so many different parts of the community that it does take an organization like that to kind of put this kind of thing on. What would you want to talk to people about who might be kind of reluctant to kind of come to something, especially if they hear summit? They might think, oh my God, I'll be standing out in the open and, and that kind of thing. What would you want people to kind of know or understand about that?
I believe this summit is very targeted to the audience that should be inviting. But I think one of the things that people forget is that it takes a lot more infrastructure and support, especially with populations that really don't understand what these type of services are. So educating them, bringing the staff, training the staff, and building an infrastructure to really help provide the services is really crucial. And oftentimes funders don't think about that. They oftentimes think about just giving funds for the services, but they really don't think about how much more it takes to really make these type of service is successful.
Well, somehow I have the feeling Sharita agrees with you there.
Yes.
ACCI might be one of the organizations where people might not think you need that much support or that much help.
Well, that's not exactly
Just with
true.
the demand going
The
up all
demand
the
is
time.
going up. I mean, we have seen a 400% increase in the number of calls that we've received just around domestic violence. And so there's definitely a need to highlight this issue and bring it out into the open. And there's a lot of need for supporting, like Jorge said, the infrastructure needs.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm glad we're going to be a part of it.
Thank you.
We'll see you there, okay?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
All right, the API Summit is coming Wednesday, May 8th to the Commonwealth Club at 110 Embarcadero. Go upstairs, and it's in San Francisco. Well, May is Stroke Awareness Month. What to look out for?